Thank you. So how many of you are excited about AI? Let me see your hands. Okay, I've got pretty much the whole room. How many of you feel like you have a clear roadmap to integrating AI into your life and into your business? Okay, not that many. And how many of you who raised your hands just lied? It's tricky, right? AI has fundamentally upended so much. The human-computer interaction paradigm has completely changed. Now, all of a sudden, AI can pass the Turing test. We can talk to machines in natural language. Never before has that happened. So how in the world do we bring it into our lives, into our businesses, in a way that brings value? Well, I'm going to share with you 4 lessons that I've learned over the last 10 months building a generative AI consultancy. So, lesson number 1. Good things can come from failure. So 2.5 years ago, probably like many people in this room, I got super excited about GPT-3. This was before ChatGPT, so that's my big claim to fame with AI, as I was in before ChatGPT, which is like not much considering those of us in this room who've been doing it for decades. But that's when I got really excited about it. I dove in super deep. I had a software engineering background. I mainlined YouTube videos and white papers and books and tried to learn as much as I could. I got the Reddit username GPT-3 for life, which didn't turn out to be a great plan because we're already on GPT-4. But I decided to start a company. This was really the first SaaS company I ever tried to build, and I named it Lexi.ai. The long and the short of it is it was basically a complete failure. But we pivoted through just about every use case you can imagine under the sun. So I'm not even showing all the pivots that we made here, but I'll show you a few of them. So this is one of them. It was an AI search engine. How many of you use Perplexity.ai? Yeah. If only I had done a better job, you might have raised your hand when I said how many of you use Lexi.ai. At one point, we were totally in feature parity with Perplexity.ai. They just had better funding, better know-how, better marketing, probably a lot of other stuff we didn't have. And so the idea didn't work for us, but it was a great idea. Next, we decided we had this great idea. What if we could build a way for people to build their own AI bots? And so we built this system. We called it No-Code ChatGPT Builder. And we launched it, and about a month later, who can guess the product that OpenAI put out that killed this? Custom GPTs, right? So OpenAI launched custom GPTs. Everybody could do it. It was free, and that whole business model was toast, right? Okay, bummer. So then we moved on to another use case, which was like an extremely obvious use case and in a highly commoditized space. Somehow or another, we managed to get this like mildly profitable. Not profitable enough to like feed ourselves, but just like be making money. And this was a AI article writer. We thought maybe we could have a way to differentiate by getting the AI to write in a different way, by being sort of clever about how we were using the LLMs. Like I said, it never really took off. So every day I woke up during those years that I was running that company, feeling like there was a tiger chasing my tail, and I didn't know what to do. I just kept running. And finally, only 10 months ago, I made one of the best decisions I've ever made, which is a great lesson to learn in business, which is to know when to let go. And so I took that company, I put it on the back burner, and I decided to just look at what I'd done, look through my failures, and try and figure out what the hell do I do next, right? What I found was, well, one way of looking at everything that we just did was failures, but another way of looking at it was also I just taught myself how to build some cool stuff with AI. And at that point, I was just a solo dev. And so I figured, life gives you lemons, you make lemonade. So here's the lesson for you. The biggest risk is not failure, it's failing to act. Because if I hadn't had those failures, I wouldn't be standing here today to tell you about the company that I did build that was successful. So get out there and try. You never know. Lesson number 2, your weakness can be your strength. So every agency that starts has a huge problem, which is, how the heck do I get clients? That's where I was. I was a solo dev, didn't have any clients. And when you're in that position and you don't have great connections, it can feel really difficult. Like, how in the world do I move forward? Some people, like this CEO that I took a random stock photo of, they have amazing connections, right? Like, you were just telling me a story of like, oh yeah, and then we just like got this $1 million contract, like consulting. Cool, I don't have any of those friends. So I had to figure out like, okay, how do I build something anyway, right? Without that advantage. So I built an engine. I did the only thing I could think of, which is try little experiments in every possible marketing channel that there is. And I did try LinkedIn ads, Facebook, Google ads, email, you name it, I probably tried it. Most of them didn't work out, but a few of them did. And we've actually had like weirdly good success with cold email. I never would have guessed that, not in a million years. But it turned out it worked, and we started to get clients. And here it is, over the last 10 months, we cleared the 100,000 mark. So on an annualized basis, we are 7 figures, and we're hoping to clear $1 million this year. So the lesson is, disadvantages are just opportunities cloaked in fear. You can take what are the disadvantages that you think you have, and if you can find a way through those, you can actually make them huge strengths. Because here's the thing, when I go to sell this company, I am no longer in the sales process in terms of the top of funnel. But if I had started the company as a CEO with amazing connections, it's way harder to sell that company, because then I have to go with the company in order for it to be valuable. Lesson number 3. It's the problem that matters. AI can feel like magic. It's so new. It's absolutely insane that we can talk to computers and they can talk back. It's evolving so rapidly. We don't fully understand its capabilities. And so I think it's very easy to lose our bearings when we think about how we can find the value with it, and we don't know what to reach for to ground us. So I want to share with you an extremely simple framework that can ground you as you're thinking about where to find the value. So value. What is value? Simple equation, return minus cost. So the dollars that come in the door as a result of building something, minus the dollars that went out the door to pay for that thing. Not complicated, right? Yet people somehow lose their sense of this very basic equation when it comes to AI. Because AI has cool bells and cool whistles. And what if I just built a lot of cool whistles and cool bells? Would that add up to a product that people would buy? Probably not. I'd spend a couple years doing that. So when you look at the return side of an equation, with AI, what does that look like? Well, it could be a number of things, but one thing is a service tier upcharge. Or we've seen this be successful like a service tier, like a carrot to get you to the next service tier. That brings in revenue. Perhaps there's an entirely new product line, so that brings in revenue. Or perhaps there's reduced headcount. Or maybe there's increased creative output in your organization as a result of reclaiming time. So that is a return. Okay, what's the cost? Basic. The cost to develop the thing, the cost to maintain it, your fixed costs around hosting, and your variable costs. Every time you run an LLM inference, it costs a little bit of money. You put those things together, and what you're looking for is opportunities with a big delta. So this is nothing new, obviously. Like I could have said that 20 years ago about the web, right, or cloud or whatever. But we somehow, with AI, it's really easy to forget that that's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to solve problems. So let me give you a couple shortcuts though, because although that framework is true, can be maybe difficult to kind of get going when you get to your organization or the business you want to build or your life. So I'll give you 2 shortcuts. One is there are 4 use cases that we find, generally speaking, provide value. So one is reporting and content generation. So LLMs are really good at words, right? So they're great summarizers of data. They're also great at creating content, especially marketing content. Another thing, AI assistants, the sort of chatbot. I was at a chatbot conference like a number of years ago, and there was this mug going around, and it said, "What do we want? Chatbots. When do we want it? Sorry, I do not understand that query." But now we actually have chatbots that work, right? Which is so cool. So we can assist users in finding information or in making a decision or in being creative. Another space emerging, we've just heard a talk about it, AI agents. It's going to be huge. The technology is not totally baked yet, but having an AI that can autonomously complete tasks, you give it a goal, it figures out its sub-goals, and then it adapts the plan as circumstances change. That is massive, a massive unlock of value, and we're just at the beginning of that. And finally, multimodal AI. Image, video, audio, voice, I think, is about to become an incredibly popular modality for AI. The fact that OpenAI just launched their advanced voice mode via an API really opens up a ton of possibilities. If you have people on the phone and that's their job, you can probably automate that now. A massive opportunity. Shortcut number 2, look for workflows that you can speed up by 3x or more. So if you walk into any organization, or if you walk into your customer's organization, you need to find opportunities with AI that aren't just a little bit better or even twice as fast. You want to look for something that's at least a 3x speed up. Because at 3x, it's really hard to ignore. At 2x, I've got my switching costs to consider. I've got this, the way of doing things. But at 3x, it's like, okay, let's have the conversation, right? So if you look for those kinds of opportunities, you're likely to find real value. The key to remember is, although we're so excited about generative AI and all the possibilities, it is still just a tool for solving problems. And fundamentally, as technologists who are helping people and providing value, that's what we're doing. We're solving problems. So look for the problems. Lesson number 4. We are still so early. Like, we have no idea how early we are in this wave. I'm going to take you back to the dawn of human history and the harnessing of fire. What did that do for the human race? Incredible things. It upended what it meant to be human. It opened entire new possibilities. We could cook food. We could forge tools. We could create weapons. That technological shift opened up many, many doors. Here's another one, agriculture. For the first time after humans invented agriculture, we had enough productive capacity that we could look beyond just feeding ourselves. Before that, really all of our productive capacity as a human race was engaged in just subsistence. So what did that do? It upended culture. It gave us a ton of new opportunities. It raised new challenges. The Industrial Revolution. What did that do? Well, for the first time, humans could take manual labor and outsource that to a machine. Power, doing stuff, putting energy in things. We could now do that with machines. And being able to outsource that, again, upended human culture, raised new possibilities, opened new challenges. And today, it's my contention that we are at the beginning of a kind of 4th era. What's changed is we have emerged into a new era where we can outsource cognitive labor. Never before have we been able to outsource at least certain kinds of cognitive labor. Fuzzy thinking, you just couldn't do that without a neural network, but now we can. And it's going to raise opportunities, is going to raise challenges. And here's the thing, it's up to you, and it's up to us to build the kind of future we want with this technology. It's time to emerge into a brighter future. Thank you.